So guys, I found this very interesting video on TikTok. It's from Wild Detox X2, and this one shows some very thought-provoking stuff about the sacred technology and the sacred buildings. Let's have a look at this because this is just so damn interesting.
World, the sacred buildings, they used to have these brass balls and they loaded them up with mercury and they put them real high up so that they could gather atmospheric energy.
Yes, that's right. So first and foremost, this is something that we've seen before. So the balls which were up high, they were actually filled in with mercury, and this can be seen even in old paintings. Mercury up high, what it does, it produces some very strong energy in and from the atmosphere, almost like a battery pretty much. This is very interesting, guys.
Which is free energy. The higher you go up, the more energy that's up there. And they would run, for example, a copper wire down into their home, and they could use that if they wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home.
That's right. So basically, using the copper wire, this is why we see many buildings, the towers had the bulbs at the top with mercury, and then cables would go underground and they would travel long distances, and then effectively with this they could literally use free energy forever. Nobody had to pay for electricity because electricity came from air, because there's plenty of electricity just by doing the chemical reaction in the air with the mercury, and Tesla knew this as well.
A lot of this is never disclosed because, for example, when we look at all of these things from the past, we start to look at a lot of things were about electrical conductivity. Look at that. They all look like conductors, right? Sacred buildings are looking like conductors. They're built like conductors.
That's right. You see that? So very interesting. So this is, again, we saw this in the World Fair. So in the World Fairs, we see these type of buildings which are exactly that shape of a conductor. I mean, just compare like this, these buildings as well. They're effectively same as an actual conductor. You have the tower, you have the top here, and then it goes all the way down. So the building itself is literally made to become an actual conductor. I mean, this is just crazy, guy. Look at this. Look at this, because we need to check this again because it's just so interesting.
They wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home. A lot of this is never disclosed because, for example, when we look at all of these things from the past, we start to look at a lot of things were about electrical conductivity.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. They all look like conductors, right? Sacred buildings are looking like
as
conductors.
well, obviously.
They're built like conductors. There's free energy right there. Free energy right there.
Look at that. I mean, again, it's free 100% energy just from air, from the atmosphere, from the movement of bodies, man. This is just amazing. And also, obviously, magnetism as well.
But the thing is they changed all the history to make it look like everybody was fighting each other. It was medieval. People were going against each other. But in reality, I think the hidden history of the past is very different than what we've been taught.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this guy is straight away right? I mean, this is the whole point. Here's one example of, like, look at the tower here. Look at how it creates energy, electricity from the top. Look at that. You see? Basically free energy. Like in the past, we had free energy, but they obviously censored it because they wanted us to spend money like crazy idiots on petrol and electricity. That's the whole point. That's the whole thing, right? All the towers, and even in India, we see this a lot. Like we see all the towers and the pagodas and everything. They have this interesting structure where they would accumulate all the energy, and then with copper wires, they would just distribute the energy to everyone for free. Everyone could afford electricity. So yes, guys, next time you remember that your government wants to spend even more money on paying electricity, because why not? Remember that there is a thing called free energy, and buildings from the past were made to use that energy, to adapt it. That's why currently we have square buildings. Current buildings are completely square. They cannot attract any energy, okay? Just look everywhere, like in big cities, everything is square. Lots of square, flat buildings. There are obviously some skyscrapers here and there, but that's the exception in the general of square. And also the skyscrapers, guess what? Usually at the top, very rich people live into them. So they're using the energy, they know the technology, so they're using the energy to benefit themselves only from the top of the skyscraper, which is the most rich people. The ones from the bottom just live in flats. That's why I remember the word flat, because it's flat, because they just don't want you to have that pyramidal benefit. The shape of the pyramid is a conductor of electricity, guys. Quite shocking stuff, and I'm pretty sure that many of you know about this, but some of you guys never thought about this. This is something quite amazing. So remember, history as you know it, history as they taught you in school, may not be exactly what you think, because many times, as always, guess what happens? Very simple. You get lied to, because there's interest, there's politics, there's a lot of things which goes into building and managing and controlling a society. And one of those things is, of course, creating a facade. Once you control the facade, you can control the people. You can control his fate, you can control his way of thinking, you can control everything from that people. And that's right, guys. Then, of course, you can force people to, for example, pay for electricity. You avoid them having free energy, because if someone has free energy, what happens? They're independent, they're powerful, and you cannot subdue them. And if the government cannot subdue free people, it loses power. This is the reason why free energy was stolen from us. Guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and kudos to this TikToker, because this video is just short and so sweet. Wild Detox 2, really good quality video, loved it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The truth is in front of you. The problem is because when you go to school, they make you think like you're in a square, and you never think outside the box, because you live in the box, you live in a square, and you don't have the higher access to the higher level of illumination, which is very basic stuff, but you just can never reach there unless someone shows you the way. So yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. I shall see you later in the next one. Bye.